because I was characterizing a successful life with respect to the approbation and praise of other people. And that's the wrong way to see it. Now, today, that's what I teach my students. Don't go looking for the applause of strangers. That will always leave you empty. Plus, they don't care. What's wrong? Why has depression tripled? Why has anxiety doubled? Why is loneliness actually going through the roof? And I get all kinds of popular explanations for it. Like, it's just all the tech that's around us, which, by the way, is a big part of the explanation. Or these generational explanations where young people are too fragile or old people took all the resources. Those aren't adequate explanations because it turns out that something has disappeared from life. And so that's what I've been searching for. And here's the answer. Life weirdly and quite suddenly started to become meaningless to millions and millions of people, especially people under 35, most especially college-educated adults, and most especially on top of that, women. So college-educated women under 35 are the unhappiest people. And you have to ask what's wrong. And the answer is, they say life feels meaningless. So all of my new work is about what's the meaning of life? What does it mean? Number two, why is it missing? And number three, what do you have to do to go get it? The explosion of depression and anxiety actually coincides with the feelings of meaninglessness starting about 2008. It was always the same, bumping around since the 1970s. Not a big part of the population says my life feels meaningless. And after 2008, it explodes. And that's the best predictor of depression and anxiety. Now, we all know what happened after 2008. We know what happened. The first smartphone was delivered in 2007. It was in basically everybody's pocket by 2009. The apps were starting to multiply by 2010. Social media was on everybody's devices by 2011. And pretty soon, the way that we work, the way that we date, the way that we hang out, the way that we spend our time, the way that we entertain ourselves was on the small screen and based in technology. I got nothing against technology, but the truth of the matter is that what we now know neuroscientifically is that it hijacks your brain. And it hijacks your brain in a very specific way. What tech does is it renders everything as complicated problems. And what complicated problems means, they're hard to solve. But with enough computing capacity, you can solve them once and for all. You know, an app that finds pizza is a complicated problem. Your toaster is a complicated problem. These are all complicated problems. Driving your car is a complicated problem. And what the technology does is it answers and fixes one complicated problem after another. But what we really care about in life are complex problems. Those are the problems that are super easy to understand but have no solution. So Kevin, your marriage is a complex problem. I defy you to solve your marriage. That's why you love your marriage, because it's living, it's human. Here's where it gets interesting. Complicated problems are actually dealt with in the left hemisphere of your brain. Complex problems, the things you care about the most, the mystery, the meaning, the love, the happiness, the why of life is in the right hemisphere of your brain. If you spend all day long using technology, you're shoving yourself into the left hemisphere of your brain, where you not only do you not know the meaning of life, you can't even ask the questions. Here's how to understand your gut about whether it's time to change and which option that you should take. Okay? So as you assess something, you should think, okay, there's three things that you can feel about your current job or a possible future job. Number one is excitement. Excitement. Everybody knows it is like, it's great. I can't wait to get out of bed and go to work. Or that opportunity, it just lights me up. The second is fear. And fear is not horrible, but it's certainly not pleasant. Like, I could fail. That could be a bad decision. That could be failure. And the last is deadness, where you feel dead inside about something. Those are the three feelings about your current job and a possible future job. Here's the right mixture to know whether you should leave because you don't have this, or whether you should take something because it does present this. It should be 80% excitement, 20% fear, and 0% deadness. Now, it shouldn't be 0% fear, because if you have 0% fear, you're going to be bored in 2 years out of your mind. And fear means this might fail, right? Now, deadness is really important because there are all kinds of things, Kevin. I could find all kinds of cool jobs for you. You're a talented, hardworking, well-known guy. And most of them that I would come to you with, which is when a headhunter calls you, you're like, it makes me feel dead inside, complete emptiness, right? Say, hey, Kevin, you want to be the president of a state university? It's like, makes me feel dead inside, perhaps. That doesn't mean that's a bad job. It just means that you know that that's a bad job for you. So here's how you know when it's time to leave, because deadness is increasing, fear is decreasing, and deadness is taking over excitement. That's how you know. You're very high in what neuroscientists call fluid intelligence in your 20s and 30s. That's working memory and focus and innovation and your ability to solve stuff on your own. And that makes you a big star in the law firm, and it makes you an incredibly good stock analyst or even a dynamite electrician. What you have later is less of that, because that peaks around age 39 and starts to decline. And in mid 40s, people say, it's like, I don't know. I mean, I'm not bad at my job, but I'm not getting better. And I don't like that. This is no fun. Humans want progress. We're made for progress. And when you don't feel like you're making progress, you don't like what you're doing. And that explains burnout for most people. There's basically 3 things to do that will fundamentally change how you interact with your devices and make it possible for your brain to start working right again. Number 1 is the first hour of the day. Don't look at your device for the whole first hour of the day. Now, that actually starts the night before, because your phone shouldn't be next to your bed. Your phone should be in a different part of the house, preferably in a different floor of the house if you live on more than one floor. If you're in a flat, it's a different kit, but plugged in a closet. I literally plug my phone in a closet on a different floor. Now, after about 3 weeks, you'll be so out of the habit of looking at it at night that you can have it as your alarm clock after that, and you won't look at it. Because it's like there's nothing to look at in the middle of the night. You won't wake up to go to the bathroom and say, I wonder who texted me. You won't, because you're out of the habit. You got to break the habit. But that's the way to do it. You're not sleeping with your phone. You don't look at it for the first hour. And that's super hard, that first hour, because right? But that's a really, really good discipline. Second is it shouldn't be on the table while you eat. So don't have it on the table while you eat. Now, human beings are made to have oxytocin exchange. That's a neuropeptide that functions as a hormone. And we get it with eye contact with our kin. And most notably, when we're sitting around a campfire in the late Pleistocene, shoving yak meat into our mouth or something. That's when we get a lot of oxytocin exchange. But the studies are very clear. If you simply have your phone and you have it face down on the table, it will distract you and cut off your oxytocin flow. That will hurt your relationships. That's number 2. 3, it'll hurt yourself too. 3, last hour before you go to sleep. So it goes into the closet the last hour before you go to sleep. Okay, now that's important because you actually need that for proper sleep architecture, proper functioning of the pineal gland, proper melatonin production, all of that basic neurophysiology. But it's also really important for you to connect with your loved ones. I also recommend, Kevin, that you read to your wife or you read to each other, you pray together in that last hour, and that when you're talking, you're giving each other a ton of eye contact. So there's more oxytocin, you'll sleep better, and it's really, really good for your marriage. So I don't just have phone protocols, I have love protocols that I talk about a lot as well. And they all interact with each other. So first hour of the morning, mealtime, last hour at night. If you do this with real seriousness, after 3 weeks, your relationship to your phone will be fundamentally different. What's the break glass plan? What's the one thing to do? Here's what it is. When you are most miserable, the reason is because you're effectively looking in a mirror, and that's perpetuating the cycle of the meaninglessness that you feel. The way that you can break that cycle immediately right now is by going and doing something with love for somebody else. To love is to will the good of another person. That is to get outside of yourself. I know sometimes you don't want to do it. I got it. You don't want to do it. Take the opposite signal from what you're actually feeling. Get up off the couch, call somebody and say, I was thinking about you and I want you to know how much you mean to me. I want you to know how grateful I am for our friendship. Or go help somebody in some way. Go bring dinner to mom, whatever it happens to be. Do something unbidden as an act of love. And I promise you, in that moment, you'll get a window onto the meaning of your life. Is it a permanent solution? No, you got to make it a way of life. But that's the break glass plan that everybody can do right now.